Hi there, welcome back. Welcome to this live premiere. If you're present, feel free to share your thoughts, opinions, reactions in the live chat right inside of the box as we do go along throughout this video. It's more of a simplistic one today, though, what it's talking about the themes, it might attract wrong crowds of people, it might attract resistance, but it is what it is. If you do have any resistance, grievances, you're welcome to list it down below. And in addition, ahead of time, if you do have questions, whatever it may be, Dylan Round's case or conflict related, you can list that down below too, and just simply react in the chat. A level of focus kind of required today, just so you don't misunderstand anything, but you can talk about a range of other different things in between. Now, originally today, what I was going to do was cover the Idaho 4 case. Okay, I was going to look at a few bits there, but because of the length of this video itself, kind of overlaps, like with time efficiency and stuff going on, just not able to fit it all in at once. So what I'm doing is this video here, okay, talking about the Dylan Rounds community, what's gone on, talking about the observations, the running effect, the ramping the volume up so you see people's true colours finally, etc., that type of stuff, as well as responding back to some of the comments from yesterday's video, okay? Now, if you haven't watched the video itself, make sure to do so for context reasons and just so you can catch up on everything, okay? I'll provide a link down below in the pinned comment section if you wish to check it out, as well some additional links if you wish to visit them, okay? But we are going to look at the comments of the previous video to kick things off, to allow people to join on in and catch up, and then we can go from there. And as well, I think it's probably best that we do the Idaho coverage another day, because there seems to be a couple of articles just popping out of nowhere recently, and the text of it is pretty long. So do you really want a full-on long video of all text and that's it? Seems a bit too heavy and a bit too much at this moment. And also sense that by incorporating this supposed mess with an Idaho 4 case, you're just dragging a dark cloud over to a different community case, and don't really want that, okay? Try and avoid it most of the times. Most. Not all, but most, okay? Was there any other shout-outs or anything in addition we needed to highlight? Well, as for Dylan Round's coverage, managed to do what I've done recently. Shout out to the Montello locals out there for enabling it and being able to spread the message with what we've looked at. Is there anything else I need to personally look at this moment in time? Not really. As for Kenny Veach coverage, I did actually release my first Kenny Veach short video in some time. Then again, to be fair, I probably did upload another one not that long ago, but it was more of a test one, okay? More of a test one. This time it was more about spreading awareness once again in a different format, okay? Make sure to check on my channel the short section, the short tab, besides the videos, the standard ones. There's a short video there. It's just like a summary of what's previously happened, previous interesting findings by only a few particular people out there, okay, including me, right? That was back then. Spread awareness, let other people know about it, because it can fall on deaf ears and not everybody does research or doesn't even make an attempt to try some form of research. They just simply look at the same regurgitated story, right? So hopefully these videos I upload here and there will get people's thoughts in gear, help people catch up with what's happened previously. And then if you want more context behind it, then I can provide the links to the full length videos in those short section videos, comment section, perfectly under control. And the video's already been released. You're interested in strange, creepy sounds caught on camera out of nowhere, supposedly under the assumption that Kenny Veach was all alone out there by himself during the M Cave hike. Well, possibly, that might not be the case. Think again, check the short video out and let me know your thoughts over there, okay? But as I said, for today, we're just following on from what we last talked about. It's got the best flow, it bounces off from each other, might as well continue, okay? So without further ado, let's head on over to the comment section, previous video, go from there. Also, in advance, apologies if there are any references made to the Idaho 4 case as if I was going to proceed onwards to that, because obviously I'm not in this video. I made a decision to delay that till next time, okay? Just so no one's confused, right? Let's move on right now. Okay, so I'm just going to adjust the comments. We do have a couple to get through, about 40, but it shouldn't take too long, okay? First of all, Blue, whoever that person is, I think called Cindy or something. Take in mind, the usernames don't seem to show up anymore. It's the tag handle, so I get a bit confused as to who is who. But good of them to pop in. Now we've got someone called Clayton Hamilton. This is a default profile, which doesn't really make any content at all. No contribution to the Dylan Rounds case or any other case as far as YouTube goes. But they definitely contribute in the sense of complaining and whining, which is typical. Clayton says, no, I don't like this guy, Warlight Ref, here. He just wants to talk about his own self and not really what is happening with what he is saying that he is going to talk about. So Clayton's punctuation, Clayton's spelling mistakes, clearly visible, a little bit poor, a little bit pathetic. You need to get some dictionaries out, probably multiple, to speed up the process, right? So he says, and not really what is happening. You meant to say, and not really what is happening. Now, this person's saying that all I do is talk about myself, then explain why I've made about 346 Dylan Rounds videos mentioning Dylan Rounds' name and repeatedly doing so, talking about another individual, another life which was unfortunately cut short at the hands of someone like Brenner, let's say. So I think Clayton needs to look back because he's failed once again to understand. Tom saying, Raf, people coming in and taking cheap shots, then announcing that they're going away for a few months. Sucks. Me personally, I don't feel like there was cheap shots last night. It was more just a response by a certain somebody, right? That's all it really was, which is fine. You're going to get resistance. It can happen. It has happened. Let's just see the responses. Yeah, despite the mess, it is somewhat quieter now, and that's mainly because other channels have moved on and some have been terminated, so more room to breathe, right? Tom, yeah, almost scary quiet. Fair enough, I can understand that, what Tom means there. Scary quiet in the sense that the realisation kicks in. Dylan Round's case still ongoing, but less people now, less coverage across all boards. It's like, damn, what happens next? That uncertainty, I get that. Buster Bratimer's cheap shots. Ty's words were in response to Warlight Raf. Fair enough, fair point. Suggesting Ty Corbin needs to do his research, get the facts and whole story before commenting. Right. Tom, get your facts straight. What's he running from? Why is he going away? Buster, running from nothing. Going away because he's taking a break from YouTube BS. Grow up, get your fake facts straight, troublemaker. So Buster Bratimer's is calling out Tom Evans for being a troublemaker, but that's a bit hypocritical of Buster when Buster came in the past, complaining and whining, starting a bit of trouble there, causing fake, false allegations towards me of, clickbait titles, which was incorrect, not true. So Buster calling other people out for being troublemakers, yet Buster has been a troublemaker himself in the past. And, correct me if I'm wrong on this point, one of two people, or both, the guy called Phil, you remember that guy called Phil with the profile picture of the top hat and the moustache, looked like a serial killer? Obviously it's not him, but, it reminded me of H.H. Holmes for context. But Phil and / or both Buster came into chat at times with a bit of a attitude problem, saying, Is this video going to be long? What's this all about? Can you please explain it now? Because I don't have the time to stick around. You know, I need to know what it's all about right now, because if you don't, I'm just going to walk away and assume it's nothing. So please tell me right now. Very entitled individuals back then. They expected me to provide them an answer immediately to the video, that they were entitled and expected a shortcut, fast track to the answers and the truth when covering a video back then. Excuse me, we're not having like VIP fast tracking here, okay? Get a grip. Try and reduce that entitlement at times, starting to sound a bit like a millennial, okay? Get a grip. So as I said, correct me if I'm wrong, but I definitely do remember one or the other, right? Either Buster or Phil, Buster, or both, okay? I do remember seeing those comments. See what this is what I mean? A lot stored within my head, right, over time. I might not be able to recall it all on the spot, but when I see certain behaviour by some people with time, hypocrisy, contradictions, cancerous behaviour, etc., whichever one it is, then it reminds me of certain humans from the past, okay, and their actions previous. Tom, read this whilst looking in a mirror. Buster, just talk to Ty, he laugh in your face, and stupid comments running from who so stupid. What's going on with the sentences here? The way Buster has typed this up is as if he's on a run, like a marathon. The way he's almost sounding out of breath with each sentence. But nevertheless, it is what it is. Now, you'd assume Buster is in support of Ty Corbin because, as you see here, standing up for Ty, setting the record straight. Not completely bowing down, but just supporting. And this is what we're seeing with time, okay? It's a normal occurrence where someone's name is talked about, maybe in a negative way, or there's a few criticisms, pros and cons mentioned in general. They themselves might come on over, and if not, they get their little personal buddy squad. Okay, like what we've seen with the potato pickers in the past. They come on in, either cause disruption, trouble, or just simply set the supposed record straight, or just simply defend that individual being called out. We're seeing it again here. Normal occurrence, okay? Anything else? Tom, Ty Corbin, grow up. Comments? Inspector, was it Inspector Gadgets? I think that is. Shout out, if that is the correct person, can I check the username? Inspector Gadgets. In general, I don't know who Inspector is, but shout out to them for appearing on the channel. Okay, new viewer. And also, of course, shout out to Inspector Gadgets last night for their super chat. Very good of them. And also shout out to Goldie Khan for their super chat last night. Very good of them. I forgot to do the, shout out at the start of this video. That's why I'm doing it now. Okay. What else? So Inspector says, Ty Corbin has to know that his tirades result in more interest in this saga. Tom, I agree, but take a look at him. He literally looks like crap. My question is, what has he gotten himself into? So that's a reference to Ty Corbin's most recent video where his hair was a bit all over the place and it looked like he came out of a bush backwards. Okay. Buster saying, grow up. You know zilch about Ty. Right, okay. Tom saying, speak English. Buster, show your face and we will judge. He was working in his yard on a hot day. Work, something you should try. Now, Buster, what about your face? Your face is of a dog, literally, in the profile picture. Huh. Now, you're saying that Tom not doing work, not getting on with stuff. Well, just as a little heads up, Tom has been busy with his garden, okay? Gardening and stuff in the hot heat. So there is that. Just like Weezer in the past when she was doing gardening too. Buster, my fist speak great English. Right, so this is the moment someone decides to lose control of potential argument, but they have to resort to potential violence and potential threatening language to get their point across. The use of fist. So if I'm going from words to possible physical action. Yeah, that's definitely a smart move there. Not really. What else do we have? Tom, none of this even deserves an answer. Buster, learn to spell. None. Loser. Right, so it definitely seems like high school bell has started ringing. Everyone has attended in class. Are we going back again? I'm sure Linda on the sideline is rolling her eyes right now, repeating certain lines, which, is like, oh, here we go again. Just Jen. That's an unappealing picture of Ty Corbin. I mean, that's based off your opinion, Jen. If you think it's unappealing how Ty Corbin appears in that video. But that's not really my fault. That's just how Ty Corbin appeared in that video, okay? There's not really much I can do about it. Unless you want me to load up Adobe Photoshop, add in a beauty filter, add lipstick, extend the hair, and get rid of any marks or creases. Should I apply some skin lotion as well and dye the person's hair, like Lance Kelly? No, didn't think so. But I can't remember who Just Jen is. I've heard of Just Eat, but that's a takeaway place. Well, takeaway delivery service. But I think I've heard of Just Jen. Shout out to Jen for sticking around for quite some time. Okay. As for the thumbnail of Ty Corbin from last night, it was used as it was relevant to Ty Corbin, how he appears, his face. Normally when you tend to do a video about someone in some way, you probably use a photo of them in the thumbnail because it's relevant, right? Just like with Dylan Rounds or Candice Cooley, Justin Rounds, etc. That's what you do, right? And that was the latest, I guess, video footage material of him, okay? Unless you want me to start going rummaging around through different albums and photo books. No, I don't think so, because that would probably end up getting out of control and completely going downhill from there. But maybe Salty Pancakes can do that and fetch some images like how he's done in the past. Still, it wouldn't go down well, would it? Anyway, clear, balance, appreciate it, though other people fail. Buster, here we go. So Buster's main response. Telling Ty Corbin, who lives in Montello and has been all over the area and knows most of the main characters, to do his research was more than insulting. In my opinion, Warlight Ref, I think an apology is due for that one. It really peed him off. I've met and broken bread with Ty. He's a good man. Maybe show a little more appreciation for his insight. That's my humble opinion. Well, first off, I have acknowledged Ty Corbin in the past. I've mentioned several strengths, weaknesses, and mainly strengths in general. It was me, the one that announced and spread awareness in the name of Ty Corbin, who demanded at the time that I set the record straight when it comes to Ty Corbin parting ways with Lance Kelly. I was the one who did that. I was also the one that covered on the maps Google Earth imagery of Ty Corbin's probable places of interest where Dylan could be at. Okay, I covered that too. Now, when it comes to the line in response to Ty Corbin most recent, it was more of a suggestion, a pointer to go in a different direction, okay? He's heard what he's heard, fair enough, but what happens if there's a different side to the story? Or that it just so happens that there is another individual out there that may know a little bit more. That can always happen, right? I don't know if it's a true saying, but don't they normally say there's always someone better than you? Maybe it applies to someone that may know more than you yourself think, okay? Buster, just telling you how it was received, he was insulted. Now, my only question is, okay, considering what Ty Corbin has supposedly been through, okay, the way he's supposedly been treated negatively by all different types of humans and characters within the Dylan Rounds case, the likes of Salty Pancakes and what went on there, serious actions, possible threats here and there, some form of harassment too, kind of serious back and forth and all kinds of stuff going on in the background, right? You can argue Ty Corbin, in some people's mindsets, he's been through a lot, okay, with time. But it's just trying to grasp the understanding how either it be one word or one sentence can cause someone to be triggered so much compared to everything else they've been through in the past. And maybe if I replaced the word at the time, instead of saying maybe you should do some research, could have been worded as maybe look in the other direction and ask Weezer what she thinks. See if you can come to some kind of understanding, okay? But then at the end of the day, I didn't think this was some kind of SJW movement where we've got to be very appropriate with our wording so it doesn't offend anyone. Considering that Ty Corbin has associated himself with Jim Terry in the past, and whether it be in a light-hearted way or not, how there's all that, sheep talk back and forth and stuff with one another out there, a few little insults here, a few little digs there, whether it be between the two or further afar. But, that didn't seem to impact Ty then, so why now? Okay, is it just simply because of opposing sides, pick and choose when and when not to be offended? I mean, we've seen that in general in life, outside of the case, outside of YouTube, just in general life, how people react there. So at the end of the day, it's unfortunate that Ty Corbin took it the wrong way, or at least got triggered by it, and more as a prompt, okay, simple as prompting, well, you know so much, but is there another side of the story? You never know, right? So it is what it is. Buster, sticking up for Ty, fair enough. Okay. What else do we have? Buster. To Corbin, responding back to Tom, I assume. Buster, Tom is just a Ty Corbin hating coward, either posting negative comments about Ty or kissing warlike refs' ass so hard his throat smells like that. Isn't he the loser who sent all the money to Salty? Lol. As far as the money part with pancakes, I've got no clue about that, okay? I personally can't remember when Tom Evans appeared on my channel, but it was probably towards the start of the case, if I'm correct in saying. As for Tom, he says what he says, shares his thoughts and opinions in chat. At least when I've been present and around, Tom has his own mindset, his own opinions, okay? Supposedly, there's been times where on different channels, maybe Bob Farrell's and elsewhere, where Tom Evans has said what he said in defence or in support of me, and I wasn't even aware. Didn't even ask him to do that, but he did because he wanted to. So, shout out to Tom there. There's a difference between people thinking for themselves and maybe standing up for someone naturally without being told to and prompted, in comparison to, let's say, Salty Pancakes out there sending out his potato pickers like a coordinated strike, mission, spec ops, nighttime raid, something like that. There's a difference between it being natural support, and then forced, brainwashed, possible controlled support with time, okay? When it comes to Buster here standing up for Ty Corbin, I would say it's natural as well. As supposedly Tom Evans has defended me at times, natural. As to how Buster is sticking up and standing for Ty Corbin, natural too. But, we talk about being submissive to one another or looking up to someone like their daddy or master. That has happened previously in the past. We'll talk about it shortly. The running effect, okay? I'll mention that shortly. What's this? Tom. That was funny. Check your facts, little one. What's this? Little one. Watch your mouth. Show your face and use your real name like Ty does. Seems you're the one hiding, not Ty. Why do you have such a hard-on for Ty? Is it your inadequacies as a man? Meanwhile, F off. So, Buster is resorting to swearing, possible physical threats, sexual frustration type lines. Yeah, that's kind of like mirroring, in a sense, Jim Terry to an extent, or some of his audiences. Yeah. But the start where it says 6, 4, 2, 3, 5, little one. Is that some kind of phone number? Is Buster hinting at revealing Tom's phone number I don't know. But, you know, if that ever was the case, and it has been the case in the past with other people in the community resorting to a method like that, why? Why? Does it warrant like the response to what originally was in place? Not often. Move on. Buster, I find you interesting, Warlike Ref, and don't mind disagreeing or exchanges, but this lying, blood-sucking troll tech on you is a pain in the ass. Okay. So, fine. Agree, disagree, etc., etc. As for Tom, I can only give you my thoughts, Buster, based off what I've seen, and it's not an ideal situation, is it, Buster, for me to give you my thoughts on Tom, because it could be considered bias. I'll give you my thoughts anyway. What I do advise you to do, Buster, if you want to, is maybe reach out to other people that have been in the presence of Tom and ask them how Tom has appeared, okay? Then you kind of get a second opinion and so on, so on. You might establish more reliability, validity in your thoughts compared to other people's, okay? In general, feel free to do that. As for Tom, when I've come across Tom, he's never caused any trouble, never caused any disruption in the chat. He's remained focused 24/7 in the chat, even times when my videos slightly go off target or transition naturally into the next discussion video, which could be funny stuff. Tom is still focused on Dylan rounds, and that is all, okay? Probably more focused than anybody else. Does he have a sense of humour? I believe so, yeah. But he is interested and focused in Dylan rounds mainly, so fair enough. That's all I can really say. And, you know, I suppose he has defended me, which is good of him, but let's not all just focus on Tom Evans supposedly defending me in a natural way. You know, you've got other people out there that have to an extent, such as Dale at one point, Matt Lingo at one point, etc. Okay? So it's not just one individual looking up in a submissive way. It's not that. There are many people just naturally, you know, doing what they're doing, saying what they're saying, their thoughts on their mind, kind of like what you could be doing right now, defending someone, trying to set the record straight, trying to clear things up. Okay, fair enough. What do we have else? Okay, so Mr. X, also known as Mr. Impetuous. If you didn't already know, this is like an alternative account of Mr. X, okay? Obviously, under a different email, you know, to be able to create an account on YouTube, despite original account being terminated, okay? We'll read it anyway. 300 plus videos, and you never once interviewed or spoke to anyone directly in the case. Never covered some of the biggest news or videos released with Dylan himself. Never saw you interview Ty, Justin, Kurt, Chase, or anyone who knew him. It's all mush and clout chasing from afar. Well, you could argue and say from afar, technically being because one is in a different country. Did you consider that? We just check the responses first of all. Fair enough. Bored, so came here. Mr. X, why are you and JT so triggered by Warlike Wrath? I thought you are the big guys in the sector. Why worry about the little guys? So there's different ways to how you could, you know, it's like agree, disagree. More of a neutral comment this, okay? Let's highlight it. Bored, so came here. Shout out to them for popping on in. They're kind of in the middle of things, you know. The suggesting, the questioning Mr. X, Jim Terry, you know, why are you here? Or why are one of you here? Why? You know, what's the reason behind it? Okay. You know, if you, who you are, you know what you're doing, you're successful, keep on doing that. Ignore that peasant over there, Warlike Wrath. Forget about him. He's a nobody, right? So kind of diffusing the situation, whilst also, depending on how you interpret it, as, you know, putting me down in a sense, that's perfectly fine. Okay, that's perfectly fine. Have we ever come across this person before? Not really. But all in all, this person, Bortzer, came here, not appearing to cause any trouble. That's fine. I can give you some additional thoughts there regarding like what Board said about the trigger factor. We'll also look at that too very shortly. Let's close that for a second. Yeah, I might as well just add on with this comment originally by Mr. X. 300 plus videos. Well, Mr. X, it's about 346 videos now. More than what you have done, Mr. X, or Mark, or Mr. Impetuous, whichever name you go by, okay? You never once interviewed or spoke to anyone directly in the case. When it comes to locals, I assume you don't include them in your wording, I assume. Fair enough. Never covered some of the biggest news or videos released with Dylan himself. So basically, Mr. Impetuous, simply put here, is referring to the 2021 dashcam cop footage of pulling Dylan over with his friends. Yeah, that's breaking news, Mr. X, even though it's got zero relevance to the disappearance or death of Dylan. Well done. Great example there. Anything else? Never saw you interview Ty, Justin, Kurt, Chase, or anyone who knew him. All mush. Mush, mush, mush. I'll be honest with you, Mr. X. I don't like mushy peas. I only like standard peas. Okay? Just so you know. But I do prefer beans more. Sweet corn. Sometimes it's okay. You know, when it's sweet, the sweet corn, that's fine. I mean, Mr. X, when it comes to Betty Hayward, well, she's a corn star, as we all know by now. Contract signings, allegiances changing. Oops, there it slides away, just like many other people. When a human fails to grasp reality, you know, where does one go from there? Bit of a slippery slope, in a way. Anyway, I think I can add on more additional thoughts in a second once we finish with these comments, okay? So, you know, shout out to Mr. X for appearing, sharing his thoughts and comments. It's expected for him to pop on in just simply because Ty Corbin was the one who got triggered or supposedly targeted or supposedly attacked, depending how they interpret it themselves. Probably ran to the master and told them. Or there was additional people present as well that then passed on the message. Okay, that's just how it goes. Whatever says, a comment I want to make as an outsider, not knowing all the details, is I don't find any benefit on criticising Candice Cooley. She is a mother who lost a child. I'm sure the pain is unimaginable. I thank God have not had the experience, but I have close friends that have to have people who don't even know her not give her some grace. Is something I personally cannot stand behind. Warlike Ref, I have never heard you say it. I think you wouldn't do that, but I see it in the comments. Okay, fair enough. Not criticising, only analysing. Yes, good point mentioned there. Just like how in the past, when people have called me out on other things and it's just like, just simply an observation. That's it. An observation is an observation. Covert, overt, participant, non-participant observation. Depends what it's like. Okay. Is that it for the comments? Okay. So let's just transition on. I'm going to share with you my additional thoughts right here, right now, in response to whatever, and then Mr. X's comment. Okay. So as said, in response to whatever, have I ever gone right at Candice Cooley and criticised her in such a negative way? I'd say no. I have mentioned strengths and weaknesses of Candice Cooley, but I have balanced it out. And at times I have also added in points where I say, based on the conditions and what one is going through at the time, that's what can lead to inaccuracies being made. But still, whilst that can be acknowledged and understood, it's also important to set the record straight when false or inaccurate claims are made about places like Montello sales boost 500% when that wasn't the case, right? Just clearing it up as we go along. Now, there'll be times where I've said on behalf of other people where I'm basically summarising from other points of views, what other people have said, okay, who do criticise Candice Cooley. Now, if people were to watch my videos and, not understand the language, fail to grasp it, they could interpret it as me criticising Candice Cooley, but that isn't the case. I'm, mirroring what other people have said, putting it into play here so you get to hear it yourself, and then me coming back with my thoughts or countering it with, opposition and what they would think, just to balance it out, okay? Now, times where could be looking at Candice Cooley in a slightly negative way, or just simply looking at a theory, which isn't a fact, just a theory. It does feel a little bit weird at times, okay? If I was to, suggest in a negative way something to do with Candice Cooley, it feels a little bit odd, feels a little bit weird to do, right? Just simply because of, who the person is and what they're going through. The same can apply to Justin Rounds, of course, but not really been in that situation, highlighting possible suspicion with Justin in that same way, okay? Maybe the only observation I did make, which could have been taken a negative way at times, was the body language analysis of Justin Rounds during one of the past interviews, the way he had his arms crossed, his eye contact, his voice, his pace and tone, that type of stuff. I think some people got a bit triggered by it because it's like, why are you doing it? Of course he's going to be like this. Of course he's going to be like that, right? I mean, did highlight those deleted posts, which were public originally, where Justin was calling out Don Hatley, and there was some threatening language used, which, to be honest, doesn't really do anyone any favours. Doesn't really help the case either by threatening other people, right? Not controlling oneself. A little bit reckless. Recklessness can lead to maybe the case being ruined in some way, or potential witness or suspect out there fleeing the area. Who knows? Whatever. Possibilities like that. That could be interpreted as a criticism towards Justin. And I think I put it, in a sense, as a criticism, a weakness. Okay? But I did add strengths as well. Also adding in, considering what Justin is going through. Just like Candice Cooley. They can't be perfect. They can't perform 100%. They might make mistakes at times, just like other people. Okay? So I've always referred back to that. Okay? But yeah, at times, sometimes, if you do mention weaknesses, which could be interpreted by some as pure straight criticisms, it is a bit awkward, okay? But regardless of that awkward feeling, you got to cover it, okay? If you're going to maintain balance, you got to maintain balance, or at least try to, with a range of different people, okay? If you just simply praised Candice Cooley and just said everything positive and only positives, then you'd be considered, being biased, not really reliable, credibility being lost. So that's why you've got to mention weaknesses as well, okay? I do feel that at times, and maybe more so at the beginning, kind of faded away, but still, it can happen. Potential witch hunts towards Candice Cooley, okay? Obviously, people have their own thoughts and opinions, but sometimes witch hunts can be a bit more intensified and a little bit unnecessary, okay? So maybe that's whatever was referring to when it comes to criticisms, pure witch hunts. When I have done my videos to do with the Dylan Rounds case, and maybe others in between, or just random individuals I have highlighted saying that if you do wish to do this or if you do wish to do that, it's best advised that you don't cause a witch hunt or start one. It's not necessary. It'll only cause more problems. I've mentioned that line myself every time, okay? So, hopefully that clears that up, whatever. And hopefully I'm saying your username correctly now, hopefully. Now, let's just briefly refer to Mr. Impetuous, Mr. X, Mr. XYZ chromosomes, Mr. Impetuous. Whiny individual, one of the whiniest voices out there. Originally, Mr. X was supportive, saying, rise above the hate, Warlike Ref. Ignore all the haters. Okay? So you could say the situation right here, right now is interesting. Ignore the haters, but that would make Mr. X a hater. constantly criticising, whinging and whining. But back then, he was more of a supporter and now a hater. So a very, very interesting situation. If you let it run in your head, ignore the haters, ignore them, keep on going, keep on going. That's what Mr. X said. And now he's here now saying, what are you doing, man? You know, what good is this? It's useless, you know, terrible. Where are you from? So I better not do that voice. Oops. But you know what I'm saying? Massive U-turn. Big 180, 360, no, more of a 180, okay? Very interesting. I mean, do we just move on right now? We can. What I do want to tie in, though, to be fair, is with the other comment, was it? Board side came here, who is questioning, why are you triggered, Mr. X, okay? Is Jim Terry triggered as well? I don't know. I mean, Jim Terry doesn't really show up much on YouTube on my channel. He's not really causing me much disruption. He's not really causing much trouble, Jim Terry himself, on YouTube on my channel, so that's fine. Mr. X just simply comes on in here and there, whinges and whines, but it's the concept of they, as a group or pair, whatever you want to call it, Jim Terry, Mr. X, Mr. Impetuous, they are where they are, they're doing what they're doing, maybe successful or doing somewhat well. If they've got better places to be and better people to see, then why are both or one of them present right here, right now, or at least last night, okay? I guess the main motive, as said, more so because Corbin being talked about. Corbin is in connection with Jim Terry and Mr. X as for like friends or contacts or mutual individuals, mutual friendship at this moment in time, okay? Just one of those things. So one person is supposedly attacked, then the backup comes on in or some kind of support, okay, to try and resolve things or just stick up for someone like Corbin. So would that imply, well, what would it imply? Did Corbin run to his master, or were the other people already present watching in the background, or were there other people, supporters, hardliners, okay, who were watching and then passed the message on? Either way, message was passed some way or another, which led to a response, okay? Mr. X in the past did say that he's got better places to be than be here, listening to me, but you just can't stand it. Fine, fair enough. But despite all the complaining, moaning, and sexual frustration displayed by Mr. Impetuous and even Jim Terry, they keep on coming back on their hands and knees. And it's just trying to understand why, okay? In the past, you know, we had one individual known as "We the people! We the people! We the idiots! We the hypocrites! We the ones that don't know what we're doing, and we'll just keep making videos in the name of Walleye Graph, criticizing Cam. Oh wait, sorry, I got memory loss. I don't make videos because I can't create content, but I'll leave comments on other people's channels, whinging and whining. We the people!" Yeah, that's what that person was. Eventually, they changed their name from We the People to something more generic. I think that's just simply because of, you know, the hand on the heart. Ooh, wrong side. Might need to check that out. Maybe my heart's on the other side. Maybe the heart doesn't even exist. Who knows? But we've had some people with time coming on in, complaining, whinging, whining, but it's very repetitive because they keep on coming back, okay? Seen it with that guy called Clayton or something. We've seen it with some other guy. I think we've seen it with Rainer Big. We've seen it with Bouncy Bounce, etc., etc. All these default dead-end channel profiles keep on coming back. You know, at the end of the day, reality is, you got better things to be doing, then why not do them? Why be here, okay? The other reality is, though, to acknowledge, some people can multitask, okay? Some people can complain, whinge, whine and moan and be negative or be hateful, but also be successful at the same time by doing other stuff. You got to acknowledge that as well. If that was the case here with the likes of Mr. X or Jim Terry or Corbin, whoever, there must be another motive, there must be another factor which draws them in, okay? Do they not like the idea that there is somebody else covering the case? possibly getting close to the truth about something, following on with previous research done by them for some reason. I mean, some of them have got triggered in the past when I supposedly covered this or that, and then they started whinging and whining saying, oh, you copied us. How can I copy you when I don't really follow your channel or videos to begin with, nor am I a member, nor can I see or view the pay-per-view videos or the members-only videos? Yeah, it's actually from a different context, so don't know what you're on about. Just one of those things, okay? That's the reality. There'll be times and moments within this case where I might cover something now, okay, or later, and it's been talked about right at the start, or within the little coven-packed group of people, but how am I going to know? Completely clueless to it. Late to the party at times, maybe, but managed to clear it up better than some people do, okay? So, as well, whilst being not present with everything and everyone over time, it's also led to me avoiding the BS, the rumours, and all that being dragged out, okay? I mean, do we do a poll here? No, let's not do a poll. Let's just share thoughts in the live chat right here, right now, okay? Just want to base off one thing. Do you feel that it's easier to think now? Do you feel that there's more room for thoughts and ideas of you yourself without feeling clogged up with the presence, the screeches, the tones of all the other YouTube channels that were once present, okay? Sure, when more people were present, there was more coverage, focus on the case. Doesn't always mean to say for good reason, okay? Because back then you had more disruption, more lies and rumours going about, okay? So would you say that doesn't seem to happen as much now? Let me know your thoughts in the chat, okay? Because that will, speak for itself, okay? So really, Mr. X keeps on coming back, no change there, whining, Mr. Impetuous, broken record, Ty Corbin, getting a little bit too triggered, Buster, simply sticking up for Ty, though calling out Tom despite Buster causing a bit of trouble in the past, but that seems to have been forgotten about. Yeah, humans. Now, the reality, the way I see this is, as well, Linda, feel free to share your thoughts, of course. Do you think the class has finished, or does anyone need detention? Let me know, Linda, if anyone needs detention. Heard the odd comment or so yesterday by some people, whatever it was about, saying that Linda departed from the channel or walked away or something. No clue what that is about. If you want to clear that up, feel free to do so. Linda is a supporter of Ty Corbin based off, with Ty Corbin, what he's done and the way he's covered a case and been out there physically. I can understand why Linda would appreciate and acknowledge that, as well as the video Ty did in most recent time. Okay, I'm sure Linda can understand what Ty Corbin has been through with all the other stuff going on with time, like with the pancakes saga and so on, the pancake wars, etc., etc. But let me know your thoughts, Linda, to what you think about Ty Corbin having a bit of a meltdown at times and turning it on me when I just mentioned a simple point. I mean, okay, taken as an insult by some, but not by others. Just let me know your thoughts, Linda, about that specifically, okay? Let me know your thoughts. The way I see it in general, though, people showing their true colours, good reasons, bad reasons, whatever it may be, that's a good sign, okay? It's good to be in a position where you know where you stand, right, with people or with an event at that time, okay? If you get a good idea and grasp of reality early on with individuals, humans out there, okay, straight away, time efficient, practical, no feeling of getting backstabbed, no feeling of getting betrayed, but of course, quite a few humans, quite a few have failed to incorporate that, okay? Hence why so many people have been getting screwed, used, backstabbed, turned on, while it's felt like shark-infested waters with time, okay? Hence why there's been so much drama, because humans haven't been able to establish who's good and who's bad, okay? Who's realistic, who's delusional, etc., etc. from the start. If you knew from the start what people were capable of, who was dangerous and who isn't, and much more, then you know how to tread on things with time, okay? There'd be a reducement in drama, there'd be a reducement in conflict and misunderstandings. If you know someone is lacking in the IQ department, or IKEA, it depends if they've got the furniture mixed up. Sorry, Indiana, I think I'm reading up your shopping list. Yeah, I don't know how it ended up in my pocket. Sorry, Indiana. Okay, you can have a curry though, if you want. But despite a curry in a hurry, okay, some people who may lack in understanding, reasoning ability, then you gotta word things very specific and clear to them so they don't get mixed up, so they don't misunderstand and then go off and want and throw their toys out the pram, okay? You can avoid that. So, how many times have I been in that situation where I felt like, okay, seeing these people know how to tread carefully? Well, I'll just use one example in brief. One example, okay? More holistic. Most things other YouTubers have done, I have done the opposite. So, interviews, call-ins, panels, yeah, you see all these other people doing it. Let's just have a little count. No thanks, salty pancakes, Mr. Impetuous, Jim Terry, Shack Lady, in a sense, all have done some form of interviews, call-ins, panels, that format, structure, live stream. Most of them are now gone. Gone, like that. Did I do that same format as them? No. Am I still here? Yeah, I am. I mean, it's been more than that, down to wording, language, and all of that, etc. But you see a pattern. Again, I saw a pattern from the start. Certain formats and styles, then enabling people on, and a power hierarchy dynamic change in structuring taking place. You know, some kind of takeover in a sense, being owned by another individual. Yeah. We've seen the downfall of many channels, the destruction and obliteration of them, no longer present, and others, reputation tarnished, fading away into the mist. Okay, well, I didn't go down that route, okay? I had my own method. And in a sense, more so at the time, it was to complement all the other stuff, because the methods and styles back then were saturated. What I was doing was away from it, okay? To an extent, kind of like what Lance Kelly was doing with his format with videos. Though you can acknowledge Lance Kelly did branch out down the line and did some interviews with people, fair enough. But then again, you think about it, Lance Kelly getting caught up within some kind of drama too, being spread about, getting into sticky situations. A lot of people get into sticky situations, whether it be their own personality, behaviour, actions, or how it's just portrayed by others. It's got out of hand, though it's somewhat under control here. Why is it in hand here? Is it simply because I've got big hands? Maybe, possibly. But I think it's more so just down to wording and language once again. And as we've seen within the comment section of the previous video and much more in the past, people can't seem to control themselves. They lose control. Maybe starting to resort to swearing, pure name calling, insults, which isn't a problem, but it just highlights that what else have they got? What else do they have, right? When Corbin started suddenly assuming that the video what I did from yesterday was recorded at the time or more so after Ty's own video, it was like, well, do you have proof of that? Where did he go? I don't know. He walked away. Is that because he didn't have proof? Maybe. I said, completely oblivious to Ty Corbin's video at the time. I did what I did much earlier on in the day. Then later on, I noticed it and I'm like, what the hell is this on about? Listen to a portion of it, talking about other people, I get that. And then I mentioned him, it's like, oh, well, no clue. But once again, sometimes when one is oblivious, are they protected? No. No, that's the thing. That's the thing. You're not protected, but you might reduce tension at the time. Does that make sense? With your own self. Now, as said, the running factor. Are humans running about at times? If they get attacked, they run to their master. If a person has a message to pass on, like, Gabriel, the messenger, I'm here to deliver a message. And then what, the trumpet, the horn blows, hallelujah, it's now raining. Make me wet. Do not make me wet, because I already am. Anyway, that's completely out of context, okay? But you get the idea, the running effect. When something bad happens, run away. Not in a, well, some people could say in a cowardly fashion, but running away, alerting other people, telling someone. Did that happen this time round with Ty Corbin? I don't know. Personally, I don't know. Has it happened in the past with other people? Most definitely. Running about. Oh, mister, I've been attacked. I've been called a plum. Please, can you send some help? Master, what have you do with me? What do you want me to do, master? Kind of like that in a submissive nature. And it's like, you need to get a grip, because at the end of the day, where can one run? Really nowhere, okay? You either just move away from the case casually, cover something else, or you just stick around and put up with whatever is happening, good or bad, okay? It's like that. Am I aware that there are dangerous people out there? Yeah. Am I aware that people can threaten one another at times? Yeah. You know, people have been threatened, or some form of harassment has taken place in the past, yeah. But, you know, it is what it is, because like the time in real life in the past where one of my best friends ended up threatening to shoot me in the head, and it's like, okay, just make sure not to miss, okay? Didn't happen, but it was still a threat, and it was a friend that said that, they were going to shoot me, okay. I mean, this is the thing, it'd probably be awkward on their end, because I've had 3-4 near-death experiences already, so I'd have to probably fire a few times in my skull and get a few cartridges lodged in my head. But then again, because my head is so thick, okay, I really do have a thick head, okay? Amount of times I've clunked my head on stuff, or dented objects, dented wood. I'd be surprised if that bullet ricochets back at them and breaks their glasses. Were they wearing glasses at the time? No. Maybe Watch Your Crazy might have thrown out a few free pairs out there. You know? Okay, so I think I'd say we've rounded it all up just then with the talks and discussions. And so feel free to share your comments down below and additional thoughts or grievances in the comments, and maybe refer back to them down the line depending on what video is covered next. I did say about Idaho 4, I'm sure we'll get round to that. Quite a few articles to get through there. I guess we'll just go through it bit by bit, so be on the lookout for that. And I guess also be on the lookout for any more Kenny Veach videos I upload. I should try and upload one a day at least to spread the awareness there, and then you can catch up as well, okay? So yeah, I think that's pretty much sums it up for now. You might be thinking, am I on Degen Island once again? You know, that's a mystery. Did Warlike Ref ever make it back? Who knows? There's a moment in time I'm surrounded by nature, but who knows where that could be. I think the one problem is I've got a bit of vegetation twanging upon me, okay? It's on my head. Do I appreciate that? Not really. You know, petty, get out the way, okay? Maybe it can become a new feature upon me. I can wear it like a little daisy headband. I'm sure Betty Hayward would be really proud of me and also a little bit jealous. But that aside, you know, you got Inky doing her island vlogs in recent time. Yeah, Inky getting all involved. Inky, the individual that says, I've reached my 50-year-old mark. Yeah, of course, Inky, you keep on talking with the BS, even though you're probably just 40 years of age, but you're pretending to be 50, so you get probably a discount. Yeah, that's what Inky is doing. Inky has planned her 50th birthday all along, way ahead in advance, used Kathy Waters' time-travelling machine, not back in the Victorian ages, but fast-forwarding ahead, appearing older than what may one appear as, so you get discounts upon the islands, and then you know, you'd have to pay as much for Miss T's one-on-one sessions in the club. I know exactly what's going on, Inky. I have to try and hide it, okay? Looks can be deceiving, and that's what we're experiencing right now. As for Betty Hayward, oh, Betty, you know, Betty and her candy shop. When's that coming? Oh, I don't know. I think we're going a bit too far. It's definitely hit the nail on the head, hit the sweet tooth with all the stuff we've been looking at recently too. Yeah, very, very interesting, of course. Is there anything else to refer? I mean, Betty Hayward did an island vlog as well. Betty seems a little bit confused. Don't know what's going on, where, when and how, but Betty, don't worry. It'll all be explained someday. It'll be all under control, just remember that. Okay. As for everything else, we'll see what happens next. Is there any more twists and turns in anything? Okay, so hopefully you enjoyed the video. I'll see you next time. For now, goodbye and good night.